Hello students, welcome to the video class English of class 9th. This is your English teacher from St. Norbert Senior Secondary School, Damoh. Today we are taking the class 9th poem number 2, The Wind, composed by Subramanya Bharti. Let us understand the central idea of this poem. The poem is derived from the poet's observation and devotion. He sees the effects of the wind in general and of stormy weather. He also praises the wind god. We are able to appreciate the keenness of the poet's vision and his unique thought process about something as apparently simple as the wind. The poet suggests everyone to be strong physically and mentally. Wind here is the symbol of difficulties or obstacles humans have to face for their survival. People with strong physique and good mental health will be able to stand and face odds or obstacles of life. So, here the central idea of the poem is it is a very deep meaning poem. The poem has very deep meaning, and this poem is being associated with the life problems which humans has to face during their life period for their survival. Let us see the first stanza. The poet makes a request to the wind, asking it not to blow so strongly that it breaks down the shutters of the windows, as they separate man from the stormy environment outside. So he is asking the wind for protection. He also asks the wind not to scatter the papers in his room or to throw down the books from his bookshelves with its force. As we have seen that when the wind blows strongly, and we can see the effect of this strong wind, that it closes the doors, it closes the shutters of the windows. So with the poet also it is the same thing. The wind is blowing so strongly that it shutters down the windows and it scatters the pages of the books in the room which are on the table and throw down the books from his bookshelves with its force, because when the wind blows so strongly, it blows with its full force. Moving on to the stanza 2. Here the poet accuses means to blame the wind of blowing too strongly and creating the mess in his room. Mess here to scatter the things in his room with the books thrown down from the shelves and their pages torn. He sees outside and tells the wind that it has brought rain with it again. So in the second stanza, poet here blames the wind for blowing so strongly and creating the mess, throwing the things here and there from their proper places, and the pages are torn of the books. He sees outside and tells the wind that it has brought rain with it again, and the wind has brought rain with it. Moving on to the stanza 3. Now the poet speaks in a subdued tone to the wind, saying that it makes mischief whenever it encounters anyone who is too meek. That is, meek means humble, and mild to protest against its action. It tears down doors, rafters, and even entire wooden houses altogether, leaving people without shelter from the harsh world outside. This is an idiom implying that the troubles we face in life come as suddenly as the wind and also leave suddenly. As the poet says, the wind can tear down weak bodies and fragile hearts. Fragile here means the weak. That is, difficulties in life can lead to a loss of hope as well as loss of life. That thus it is all up to the wind god, says the poet. So in the third stanza, the poet says that the people who are weak or people who are very humble and they cannot protest against the power of the wind. So wind makes them troublesome. Here you can see in the stanza 3 there is a word which is repeated so many times, crumbling. Crumbling here means destroying or breaking. So the poet here says that wind can tear down weak bodies and fragile hearts. So the person who is not so strong or who has weak heart, then it will be influenced by the power of the wind. And this thing is compared with the life situations, that the problems come suddenly in life and those who are weak gets shaken by the problems in their life. So poet here says it is all up to the wind god. It is all up to the wind god. Moving on to the fourth stanza, the poet now speaks to the readers, saying that the wind does not listen to anybody and its actions are governed by it alone. To escape its harmful effects, we should build our homes on a strong foundation and ensure that doors cannot be easily penetrated. Also, we must train our bodies and our hearts to combat and resist the ill effects of the wind. If we are able to do this, then we will no longer consider the wind an enemy. Instead, the wind will invite us to become its friend. This is an idiom meaning that if we make our character strong, we will be able to combat any troubles easily. However, if our character is weak, the troubles will create problems for life. So in the stanza 4, the poet gives us the solution that to be friend with the wind, we should build our characters as well as the home on a very strong foundation so that the wind can help us to face the situations of the life. But the vice versa means the opposite situation of it. If we are weak, our characters are weak, our houses are not built on a strong foundation, then we will be easily shaken by the life problems which we face, because there is a reality of life that we have not seen the time, we have not seen the future, what problems we are going to face in the future in our life. So we should build our hearts, homes and character strong to face the life situations. This is the suggestion by the poet in the stanza 4. Moving on to the stanza 5, here the poet describes how the wind has both bad effects and good effects in the world. For each and everything, there are two things, as we can see, there are head and tail of the coins. So each thing has its positive effects and its negative effects. So the bad effect is that it can blow out a weak fire. However, if the fire is burning strongly, then the wind will make it burn more fiercer. The fiercer here means more strongly, thus nurturing what is already strong. The poet comes to the conclusion that if we are strong, then the wind is a good friend for us to have, as it will increase our strength. This is an idiom meaning that all troubles that we face in life will strengthen us further if our characters are strong. However, we will be seriously affected by troubles if our characters are weak. He also says that we should sing our devotion to the wind god on a daily basis, meaning that we should happily face any troubles in our life. So, in this fifth stanza, poet is coming to the conclusion that if our characters are strong, that we can face the life situations very much strongly. But if our characters are weak, if we do not have the strong foundation, then we will be easily disturbed by the life situations. Let us understand by a real life example of this situation, that we can see the people who had any situation in life, any bad situation in life, and they start crying. They are very much disturbed by a simple situation. So, what they will do when any hard situation, when any tough situation will come in their life? And you have seen the people, whatever the situation may be, whatever the condition in life may be, their faces have a smile. They have always a smiling face. So what these two situations teach us, that if you are weak, then you will be easily get disturbed by the life situations. But if you are strong, then you will be smiling always, and you will find a solution to that problem, because when the problem comes, there is a solution of every problem in their life. There's not any problem which do not have any solution, which is solutionless. So poet here requests us to make our hearts, characters and homes very strong, so that we can face the obstacles and difficulties of life in a very strong way, and we can become friend with the wind and not an enemy with the wind. So this was the poem of class 9th, The Wind. I hope you might have understood the poem well. Do watch this video repeatedly. Thank you.